AITA for pulling my offer to loan my DIL money after she called me a control freak? About a year ago, my daughter-in-law opened a restaurant. My son is not involved and works full-time. I've eaten there when I visited their city and was not impressed. The food is decent but inconsistent, and that's about the only good thing I can say about her place. The soup is always lukewarm and sometimes the dishes are hotter than the food. The staff was rude and spent most of their time either on their phone or in groups talking. This meant it took longer than necessary to clean tables after diners have already left. On my last visit, the table next to me was empty yet full of dirty dishes for the duration of my meal. The restroom was never clean on any of my visits and was out of soap more times than it had soap. Last night, I had my children and their families over for Sunday dinner. During this visit, my DIL asked me for a $100,000 loan for her restaurant. She told me how her business is inconsistent and that's caused her to burn through their savings. We spoke for a while until I offered to loan it to her, but with some changes. I told her about the problems I listed above and options on how to fix them. She got very agitated at this and sarcastically asked how many restaurants I've owned. I didn't appreciate her response, so I answered, "None, but I've never skydived before, but know enough to not jump out of a plane without a parachute." That got the attention of everyone at the dinner table. Eventually she said the restaurant is hers. She doesn't need suggestions from someone who's never ran one before. I'll give her this point, and that I'm a control freak to try to tell her what to do with her own business. At this point I withdrew my loan offer and dinner was pretty much over and they left to go home, instead of the original plan of staying until Tuesday. I haven't heard from my son this morning, but his siblings are split on the issue. Some said it's my choice to loan or not loan her the money, but I shouldn't tell her what she needs to do. Others said that I'm right, that if I'm putting my money at risk, I have a say on how she's running her place. She's asking for a large loan. You are understandably worried about if she will be able to repay you. Giving opinions on how to increase business in order to ensure your loan is a good decision on your part is valid. It's your money and your choice. If it doesn't seem like a good investment, don't do it. NTA. 9 out of 10 restaurants fail. That is not a value judgment. It's a proven statistic. I'd argue that $100,000 is not just a loan. It's a financial investment. She's asking you to be an investor in the business, and that comes with certain legal rights. And she has a fiduciary responsibility to spend that money wisely, particularly if that money is, as she stated, a loan. If you are seriously thinking about this at all, I'd contact a lawyer and offer to have a sit-down with the three of you so you can discuss options. A contract, where it is clearly stipulated that though it is an investment, you will be paid back the money, possibly with interest. That goes over her responsibilities with the money, the areas of the restaurant that you expect to see improved, i.e., the chief areas where the money will be spent, and how much legal say you have in the business based on its total value and how much money she is asking you for. I'd ask to see a business and marketing plan in writing for how she plans to combat her inconsistent business, one with concrete steps and benchmarks, and contingency plans should those steps fail. None of this is wildly out of line considering she's asking for a 6-figure loan. But dollars to donuts, she won't want to, because my guess is, based on her behavior when you gave suggestions, she has zero intentions of paying this money back. I'd be willing to bet that she has zero plans to change anything, and just wants more cash flow to keep herself out of bankruptcy. Because she sounds like she's in love with the idea of owning a restaurant, rather than the reality of running one. A question for her: how many restaurants has she worked in? How many restaurants has she been the GM for? I'm guessing the number is low, or even zero. It always baffles me the number of people who jump to owning a restaurant without having spent a decade working in one. You've got to know all the ins and outs. Otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure. My biggest rule re loans is, never loan anything you wouldn't be fine with losing. If you're at a point where you are financially comfortable and emotionally comfortable with the possibility of losing $100,000, then go for it. Otherwise, I'd refuse without a legal path and a contract to get your money back. ETA. Judgment. NTA. NTA. Never throw good money after bad. Clearly, she's never run a restaurant before, either. Regardless, it's your money, your conditions. If she's not willing to listen to the customer experience, no amount of money in the world will save her business. NTA. She's asking you for a financial investment, and you answered like a financial investor. If she wants money without advice, she can try a bank or a credit union maybe. About a year ago my daughter-in-law opened a restaurant. Is she actually managing the restaurant day to day? Because the problems you pointed out are so incredibly obvious, it's difficult to believe she's not aware of them. It sounds as though it's being managed by someone who doesn't really care whether it goes under. She got very agitated at this and sarcastically asked how many restaurants I've owned. I'm wondering how many successful restaurants she's owned. Also none? NTA. I wouldn't lend her the money either. She has no idea how to run a business and she's rude into the bargain. It would be throwing good money after bad, and I'm doubtful of her commitment to repay the loan. But bad on both of you for turning a family into a business meeting. NTA. Restaurants fail at a very high rate, sadly, that have perfect service, consistent food, and huge bankrolls. $100K isn't a small amount of money and the restaurant can still fail. Statistically, success is stacked against it. You are taking the risk. You aren't asking for partnership status. You are stating some basic concerns. I don't know about everyone else here, but I personally find it very inappropriate and crude for her to ask you for a loan at Sunday dinner around the rest of the family. And a $100,000 loan at that. I'm guessing you're loaded if you've got that kind of money just lying around. Additionally, my philosophy is to never truly lend family or friends money with the expectation of getting it back. It won't happen. Even if you still call it a loan, you might as well consider it a gift. NTA. Loans come with conditions. Always. She may feel that yours are invasive, but lenders often require business to agree to some things that are relevant to the business's ability to repay the loan. You're allowed to say, I'll risk my money for a business that does X, and not for a business that doesn't. She's free to reject the offer. That's it. NTA. Pouring a large sum into that restaurant without making adjustments as to how it is run would be bad business. I just wouldn't do it. Your DIL, being in the restaurant business, ought to know that there is no such thing as a free lunch. I very much doubt that she could get that kind of loan elsewhere completely without conditions. What exactly are her finances? You mentioned simple minor issues, however the bigger question is where did the money go and what is her business plan? Why in the world would anyone even consider offering a sizable loan without knowing where the money goes? Just go throw your money in the ocean. It will be a quicker, less painful loss. NTA. NTA. She's only asking for a loan because the flaws you listed are the source of her money hemorrhage. TBH, I bet she got defensive because she hired in friends. And she's grasping at straws to avoid the inevitable impending conflict. NTA. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. NTA. You don't need to run a restaurant to know the food isn't good. Service is bad. And the place is dirty. If anything, she should appreciate the insight given. She admits it's inconsistent. Throwing more money at it won't solve the problems listed unless she plans to fire everyone and start new with a better team and better pay rate. If you want to keep the peace, apologize for overstepping, and she is right, it's her business to run how she wants. But let her know you thought it over and it's too much money to lend to family and you don't want it to cause further issues than it has. If she has a solid plan to improve, she can get approval from a bank. NTA. And you're better than me. If I was asked, how many restaurants have you owned? I'd have answered, none. How many $100,000 loans have you given to relatives? Quote, if you loan money to a business that's not striving to achieve and in fact is operating at a loss, that's not a loan. That's throwing good money after bad into a pit that will never return the investment. You were kind enough to offer a loan with minor conditions, much like a bank would. And it's DIL's loss if she doesn't accept. I can't understand how anyone could be split on this. NTA. She's running a failing business and can't get a loan from anywhere else. This is why she's come to family. She's overextended and didn't appreciate your comments because it makes it obvious she's the problem. And she doesn't want to take accountability. Any money she gets will never be seen again. And I doubt her business is worth $100,000. Never mind the rest of the money she undoubtedly owes other official channels. NTA. You've never run a restaurant. But you don't need to know what you expect when visiting a restaurant as a customer. Until she addresses why her restaurant is failing, it's stupid to just keep throwing money at it. If a business is doing bad, losing money, putting more money into it and not making changes, fixing the problems, it will continue to lose money. She will never be able to repay your loan. A good restaurant will listen to its customers. That is why they read Google reviews. If she was running the restaurant successfully, then she wouldn't need your advice or money. Tell her you are correct. I don't run a restaurant to give you advice. I also am not a banker to give out loans. If you need a loan, I suggest you go speak to a bank. Neither an asshole nor a lender be. NTA. NTA. She said herself the restaurant is inconsistent and you as a customer experienced it firsthand. As an owner, she should appreciate your loan offer and also the feedback. I mean, of course there are strings attached with $100,000. Nobody just lends out money. Except banks expecting a high interest rate. In my opinion, it's better to not loan the money. You probably won't see it again and it will cause a greater rift in the family as there already is. NTA. That's quite the chunk of change to ask for without any follow-up questions and concerns.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.